Okay. Yo, yo. What's going on, people? Mic check, mic check. Hopefully my mic sounds good. Um, should be straight. Should be straight. Who in the chat, man? Say what up. If you're in the chat, say what up. We got Lee Green. He says 2 live streams in 24 hours. Right? That's crazy, right? Leaky, Jazzy, what's up? DX Taker. We got Cynthia, what's good? Kevin, Thomas, what's up? MLU, what's up? What's up? Who else in the chat, man? Let's go ahead and get this party started, man. I'm here to talk with y'all. No games today. I'm just here to talk. It's been a while since I yapped on the live stream. Just, simply just yapped on the live stream. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about what's going on, man, because there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on right now. Um, I'm currently going through some construction in the crib. That's why, too, I haven't been as active. But you guys always hear me say that I'm about to, I mean, turn up with the content creation. But I definitely am gonna start making more content for you guys. Um, I'm probably gonna be focusing on a lot more short form content for now. With some long form content in between. Um, but yeah, man, maybe I might sit around and do some of these talking videos too every once in a while too. So, the Art Fiend, what's up, man? How you doing? Leaky says, Yotei hidden your system right now. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot, man. You know, this year has been a little bit of a shaky year for the playmaker. I can't even lie. This year has been a little bit of a shaky year for the playmaker. PlayStation only published like what 4 games this year. We got Lost Soul Aside, we got Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, and maybe a couple of PC joints. Every single one of them games, they gave me the day before, bro. Oh man, my pull getting light over there, bro. I gotta turn it up. My pull getting light. They gave me the game. I got the review code copies, but I got them like a day before, bro. Like, yo, I can't cook up none with that kind of time frame, bro. Oh man. The playmaker looking a little light, you know what I mean? Tony's been cracking on me saying that, Paris got more sauce than you right now, holy. I'm like, of course, bro. I'm like, of course. I need to start going to these gaming events and start shaking hands. And that's what I got to do for real, for real. I got to start shaking hands and twerking for these guys, bro. But either way, either way, you know what I mean? We definitely gonna be turning up with the video soon enough. I'm just trying to get through this construction. The house is a fucking mess right now. It's actually the people's day off today, so they're not working today. So I'm like, yo, let me fuck around and do a little live stream for you guys and talk about what's going on, because we also haven't done a podcast in a while. You know what I mean? Some of it's my fault, some of it's J Main's fault. J Main love to shake ass. J Main love to shake ass, bro. That boy always got it. Yo, every time Thursday come around, fellas, I'm outside, yo. Can't make it today. That's J Main. You know what I mean? That's J Main right there. Then I'm stuck doing a podcast with Tony and Strat. And they're my dogs for real, but like I ain't really trying to talk to them niggas like that, bro. You already know what it is, bro. So I'd be like, yo, fuck it. We'll come back when we come back. So that's our situation. But I'm definitely gonna do a little bit more of these sit downs here and there with y'all and chop it up. Maybe I do a little bit of an open mic thing, let y'all hop in here and we'll discuss some games every so often. But yeah, yo, now that Junior is getting a little bit bigger, even though he's wild right now, yo, my son is wild, bro. Holy, I thought the throwing phase would have like settled down, but he turned it up. Yo, that boy loved to throw shit around the crib, bro. You guys already know he broke my TV and I was depressed for like 3 weeks for that. I broke my old 65-inch what was it, C3 or something like that at the time. Was it C3? Yeah, or C4, whatever. Broke my shit, bro. Bam. Now he's throwing bigger shit now. He's Diesel, so he's throwing bigger shit now, yo. So but he is getting a little bit, I could control him a little bit better. He is getting older. He can listen to instructions here and there. So you know what I mean? Soon your boy's gonna be free, man. Once you get a family and then the kids shit, yo, Shit changed, man. Y'all know this. Some of y'all old in here, but shit changed, man. Y'all see how I used to pump out content way back in the day. Mans could live stream for 4 hours. Mans could game for 5 hours. Like, mans could do crazy shit. Can't do that no more, bro. Can't do that no more, bro. You know what I mean? Those who are parents, got kids, understand, bro. Shit changes, yo, when they enter your life. But they're a blessing, man. They're a blessing. But yeah, man. We got a super chat donation already. This one's from Rufflemut, man. Shout out to you, bro. He says, and then there was two, Nintendo and Sony. Oh, we definitely gonna get into it. We definitely gonna talk about it, bro. Perel says your son gonna start looking at you like, like you tough now. Watch. Yeah, yo, my son is Diesel, bro. He beat my ass, bro. I can't even lie. He beat me up. You know what I mean? He beat me up, bro. I can't even front. And he's only 2 years old, but he's Diesel, bro. I don't know why he's so strong, bro. Cause he don't get the strength from me. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Why he so strong for, bro? Man, it's D's. No one believes he's 2, bro. People think he's 4. That's how big and strong he is, bro. Holy. Who else up in here, man? We got KQ. What's up, man? Who else up in here, man? Did I miss anyone? AKL Max. Got Radic in here. What's good? We got Muck. Look at Muck. Shout out to my guy Muck. All right, man. Let's talk about it though. I've been keeping up what's been going on in gaming. I've been checking the timeline and seeing all the rumors and what's popping. But I don't know, man. It seems like shit's been going extremely left for the Green Boys, bro. You know what I mean? They recently got a price increase for Game Pass. So Game Pass doesn't seem like the best deal in gaming no more. I can't even lie, bro. It does not seem like the best deal in gaming no more. So they essentially split Game Pass into 3 new tiers, something similar to like what PlayStation was doing with their tiers. They got Essentials, Premium, and Ultimate. And Game Pass has gone through so many changes. I can't even keep track with how many changes that Game Pass has gone through, bro. Like it's literally been changed. Like it's been changed every 6 months. No bullshit, bro. Like every 6 months, something is happening with Game Pass that it's getting reformed. They're changing how the plan works. They're changing the cost. Like Game Pass has just been confused. I miss the simple days. Remember when Game Pass was like introduced, especially on the PC side of things? That shit was $4.99 in beta. Then turned into $9.99. Everyone was happy with that. Game Pass was looking nice, but ever since Microsoft did all these acquisitions and started, buying more shit, it seems like Game Pass, has been evolving with it. Now they have locked the day one games. This is what people brag about. This is what people are happy about. The day one games. They have locked it on the console side to the highest tier Game Pass, which I believe is $30 a month. $30 a month. Over here in Canada, it's $33 a month for Game Pass Ultimate, and I can't even lie, bro. Like, does the average that's like $360 US a year? I don't know. I think the average person probably buys like maybe 4 or 5 games a year. At that point, you might as well just say fuck it and just buy the games that you want to actually play, because we're not gonna front like Game Pass. Yes, they have this whole huge stat that it has this much games in the service, but in reality, how much of those games do you really be playing, bro? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing with subscription services. Like, we have the Netflixes, we have Disney Pluses, but like, I'm pretty sure a majority of us don't even consume most of the content over there. And then I get it. It's supposed to be a catalog for, different strokes for different folks. Like some people like this, some people might like true crime, some people might like, cooking shows. Like, I get it. But the thing is, like, with my experience on Game Pass, majority of those games I do not touch. And what they're adding to kind of justify the price increase for Game Pass, it was like some Fortnite shit. You know what I mean? And I know Fortnite's a really popular game, but like for someone like me, that adds like zero value to Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? Because I do not play Fortnite. I do not give a fuck about that. They added some Ubisoft classic games too. Once again, a whole bunch of old games that people, if you're a true gamer, you probably have checked out some of these games already. So the price increase is just, I don't know, man. I do not know what they're cooking with that. And word around town is this shit's gonna get more expensive, like subscription services do get. So I don't know what's happening with that. Like, I feel like they're gonna end up shooting themselves in the foot going this route, and they're gonna end up just losing subscribers left and right if they keep on raising the price. People are gonna eventually be like, "Yo, I'm just gonna buy the games that I want to play and just keep them at that point." You know what I'm saying? So, it's been really shaky with that. On top of that, a couple of weeks ago, they've increased the console's price. They made the Xbox 2 TB, the one with the glitters on it, cost $800 fucking dollars. Cost more than a PS5 Pro. You know what I mean? So they raising the prices of all their devices. The Series S is like what, $449. The Series X is like $649, and it launched at $499. Like, it's ridiculous. At this point, it really feels like they're pushing people away from the console. Like, it really does feel like that. It felt like that before, but they're putting in overdrive. It seems like they're trying to axe the console, bro. They seem like they're trying to cook it, bro. For real, bro. Now we've been getting some other rumors, some other crazier rumors that's going on with Xbox. And, a lot of us have been saying that it does seem like, if you've been listening to Good Game and you listen to us talk for a while, it does seem like Microsoft is trying to find their exit strategy to get the fuck out of here, bro. You know what I mean? I think Microsoft is always going to be, cemented in gaming. It's going to always be like, the brand is always going to be around. Look, they own too many shit. They own too much shit. They could be a huge publisher and make, mad bank just selling software at this point. Do they really need the hardware at this point? I don't know. Because I can't imagine them really making a new console right now and it performing better than what the Series S and X did. You know what I mean? I feel like at this point in time, like, the name has been smeared. Like, Xbox's its reputation is in the mud. Like, in the mud. They cooked. I can't imagine them dropping a console all of a sudden and it being more successful than their last. I think it's just going to be a downward trend, and maybe they know this. Maybe that's why we're hearing all these rumors about the next Xbox not being a traditional console at all, but it's going to be some sort of PC where maybe MSI, maybe Asus can make a Xbox device. You know what I mean? But they're just, glorified mini PCs. Like, that's like the rumor. You know what I mean? And it might have some credence, man. It might have some credence. We got a super chat donation from Jazzy Jefferson. Shout out to you. I do appreciate that, bro. He says, kind of been out the loop since Friday. Been having fun playing Digimon Storytime Stranger a lot. That's dope. You playing that on the Switch? I know you're a Switch gamer, Jazzy, so I know you playing that on the Switch. Man, but I want to ask the chat this. Is there any scenario that Microsoft can actually turn this ship around? Because in my brain, I think there's no scenario at this point in time that Microsoft can turn the ship when it comes to the Xbox hardware around. So I'm curious to read some of y'all comments about that. I'm going to be looking at the chat right now. Marshmallow says no. Leaky says fuck no. Yeah, like, at this point in time, I don't know what they could possibly do to turn the ship around. Not even just to beat PlayStation, but to at least be competitive with PlayStation and Nintendo in the hardware space. I do not know what they could do. They got Call of Duty and they put that on Game Pass, and that's like a whole nother thing. Like, right now, there's reports from I believe it was Bloomberg. I think it was Jason Schreier's people. I don't know if he reported the story himself, but I was definitely reading the headlines, and they're saying that since they put Call of Duty on Game Pass, that was like the big gambit, right? Like, they were trying to, it's like, yo, as soon as we put Call of Duty on Game Pass, people are going to see the value. We're going to drive up our subscribers that way. Apparently, that lost them over $300 million doing that. Putting Black Ops 6 in Game Pass. You know what I mean? And I always thought to myself, I made a tweet a while back ago saying that, like, yo, if there's one game that you can get a guarantee $70 plus from, it's fucking Call of Duty. Low-key putting it in Game Pass is kind of stupid. And it seems like, it didn't really drive up subscribers like they thought it would. And they just lost a whole bunch of sales from it, from the PC side of things and the console side of things. You know what I mean? Because people just like the people that would have bought it just got Game Pass and played it that way. You know what I mean? And I don't think it really drove up subscribers like they thought it was going to be. And apparently that's why the rumor is that's why Game Pass is getting a price increase right now because Call of Duty underperformed. Call of Duty fucking underperformed. So that's why they're jacking up the price of Game Pass right now. You know what I mean? And they're also saying Black Ops 7, the projections do not look so great about that. So that makes a lot of sense as well that they want to raise the price of Game Pass to kind of meet, quotas and sales, or, not even sales, but they're probably trying to hit specific targets. And that's why they're raising the price for Black Ops 7 as well. Because if Black Ops 6 underperformed and it's not looking too great for Black Ops 7, so what is your choice? You know what I'm saying? What is your choice? We got another super chat donation. I do appreciate it. This is from MLU. He says, "How does Phil gotta work to get himself fired?" Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Phil Spencer. It seems like he's been with the company for so fucking long, and under his umbrella, it seems like shit's been getting worse and worse. And I'm not gonna put all the blame on Phil Spencer. He definitely gets a lot of blame, especially for a lot of recent shit, because he's the head guy there now. But he's been there for a long time, and he's honestly, instead of him getting fired or them, giving him the graceful bow, he's been getting fucking promotions. He's been leveling up. Why? You know what I mean? That's just fucking crazy. He's been leveling up. Not the head of Xbox no more. Now he's like the head of like Microsoft Gaming or some shit, right? So it's crazy. Pearl says Xbox has a lot of studios now, so the best thing to do is reset and do a traditional route. But the thing is, you're saying that's the best case scenario, but if the brand is beyond like repair, I don't know, even if they did everything right, that people would flock to the device. You have to understand that. And they probably scared as shit for that. It's almost like the Sega Dreamcast all over again, right? Great console. Anyone who had a Sega Dreamcast knows that console was fucking fire. And what's crazy is it had an incredible launch lineup. The lineup for the Dreamcast was sick. We got Dead or Alive 2, Soul Calibur. In the launch window, I think they had like the Marvel vs. Capcoms. We got Project Justice. We got Crazy Taxi, Ready to Rumble, Boxing 2. Like the Dreamcast had fucking games like that. Yeah, I really enjoyed my Dreamcast at that time, bro. That console was incredible. But I feel like the damage was done. You feel me? Like, and Xbox might be in a particular situation like that right now. Like the damage like might be just done. It's just they might just be irredeemable in the eyes of the public. You know what I mean? Xbox is not deemed cool. Like the hardware is not deemed cool. You know what I mean? I always come back to this. And I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. When you're on social media and we see these stupid ass posts, these stupid ass fucking posts, when we have these girls doing thirst traps, right? They'd be like, me or the PS5. Have you ever seen one of those posts, but for Xbox? For an Xbox? Have you ever? Has anyone seen it? Has anyone seen it? Because I have not seen it. That's what I'm saying. Just the public, not even with core gamers. It just seems with the casual audience, with the fucking casual audience, like nobody give a fuck about Xbox no more. Like that's what it just seems like. I've never seen a thirst trap of a girl saying me or the Series X. I've never seen it. Has anyone seen it on social media? I've never seen it. And that should tell you something. I know it sounds so trivial and dumb, but I should tell you something. Where Microsoft's kind of position is among the general mind share of people. You feel me? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the console is cooked. I've said it before, and now we're seeing a whole bunch of other shit that it's the rumors are saying that it's bad, man. So let's get into it. Let's see if I can read some of the shit that going on. Where the fuck is it, bro? Where the fuck is it? Let's go on the timeline real quick. Let's go on the timeline. You know, what's the go? Where is it? I think. Hold up. What was it? Is it Sneaker OS? Some shit like that. Some leaker. What's his name? Let's see if I can find it. And I don't know. I don't even know. I feel like I seen it on the timeline. Yo, my timeline looking crazy. Hold up before you know what I mean. Hold up. My algorithms be crazy sometimes. Maybe I can find it. Let's see. Let's see. It's Sneaker SO. SO? Okay, Sneaker SO. Yeah, let's read those leaks. He's supposed to be some insider that has got shit right in the past. And why can't I find it? Or am I not typing it? Typing it right? What does Radix says? Sneaker SO. Where the fuck is it? Am I not typing it right or am I retarded, bro? Hold up. Why can't I find? I feel like like a forum post. Someone needs to add me on it or something, bro. I wanna read it. I feel like I saw it on my timeline too, but why am I struggling right now? I feel like I saw it. Oh, did I spell it wrong? What is it? I'm blind, bro. I'm blind, bro. Hold up. How did I spell it wrong? Am I tweaking? Am I tweaking? All right, there it is. Maybe I did spell it wrong. Hold up. There we go. There we go. There we go. Rich homie Sean, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Texas Lean, yo, allow me, bro. It's early in the morning. Allow me, bro. Allow me. Allow me. All right, there we go. That's why, yo. There we go. Now we got it. Now we got it. Let's see if we can find his original post. I feel like he spilled the beans on some shit, bro. That hold up. I feel like I seen it somewhere. Where is it? Is this it? I feel like I read that. Apparently, he nailed stuff in the past. No, this time I'm going far back. That's way too far back. Is there any articles about this? All right, let's see what this guy's. All right. He says Xbox new hardware is up in the air and may not happen despite their announcements. More retail stores will pull Xbox from sale, and Microsoft is becoming 100% a third-party publisher. Wow. Oh, is it, you know why I fucked it up? It's double S. It's triple. There's two S's over there. That's why I got cooked. Allow me, bro. Allow me. This comes from Sneakers SO. This insider accurately leaked Xbox third-party plans. Without going into too much detail, not long after the last round of layoffs, next one should be coming Q1 26, by the way, and it's going to be just as massive as the last one. Some rumblings out of Xbox starting coming out that were a little hard to believe. Or what else is he saying? The ramifications of the COD Game Pass Gambit not working out were just starting to get properly measured. But the thing that really stuck out to me was that's only really recovery plans. What's he talking about? Who's writing this? Is that him? Hardware went from being definitive to up in the air, which was really starting to give us it only situation deep trigger 26. That steps to delivering a new console gen where lots of things, sure things. Okay, so lots of things where sure things started to get pushed back. The Costco retailer playing Xbox apparently it's one of those things to learn soon enough. Okay, I wonder what other retailers are gonna pull from. That'll be a telling sign if like Walmart pulls Xboxes from the shelves and shit like that. To sum it up, the future of Xbox is a software publishing with significant honed in focus on profitable IPs, COD, World of Warcraft, Minecraft, Candy Crush, Forza Horizon. Cloud gaming being the home of the Xbox platform. Damn, transitioning Game Pass into basically becoming the point of entry subscription for xCloud access, which will and releasing their software on any device that has marketplace and users willing to buy their titles. Maybe some OEM thing will take up the Xbox name, but given what is clearly a collapse in favorable mindshare and faith in the said brand, I'm not even sure a third-party OEM is going to want to have an Xbox console by the time Microsoft is done with their reorienting of the Xbox division. Okay, I'm okay. Okay, so pretty much Xbox is fucked. If this is true, if this leaker is accurate, which they said that he's accurate in the past, they're saying Xbox hardware is totally fucked. It's fucked. I saw a lot of people pointing out to that video that Sarah Bond made that they had a partnership with AMD, saying that they have a strategic partnership coming up with whatever next console. But the thing is, Microsoft has changed. We've seen this before. Microsoft has changed their mind like a light switch. They have flipped the switch and got shit the fuck out of here. So that don't really hold too much weight for me. Like they could easily probably just change their mind from that shit. So I really thought that Xbox got one more console generation in them. I thought they were gonna try the hardware thing at least one more time, but now they're saying that plans are up in the air. Like, how bad is it going over there, bro? That's fucking crazy. Sam Walton says, rumor is Sarah Bond is now out too. Oh my god, bro. Someone tagged me on Twitter about that. That can't be true. That can't be true. They about to give Sarah Bond the boot already? Didn't they just give her the position? That can't be true, bro. Radek says, Tom Warren vouched for sneakers, so by the way. And Tom Warren is pretty, credible when it comes to Xbox stuff. Like, he's pretty tapped in. And, I know people get at him, but he's pretty credible when it comes to that type of stuff too. Wow. That is fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy. That's insane. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think at this point we gotta accept what may be coming in the future. That there might be only two real major console players in the market right now, which is PlayStation and Nintendo. And what's crazy is they kind of cater to like two totally different, like their philosophy is two totally different. And they're not even comparable to each other. You know what I mean? Nintendo doesn't even compete in that high range type of game that PlayStation does. So PlayStation literally got that whole sector on lock. And that's not always that's as much as the PlayStation fanboys are like celebrating, that's not really a good thing. That's not really a good thing because we already know when one company has too much power, they can kind of dictate how everything goes. And if it's not the right people ahead, corporations are tend to be greedy. Then we could just say PlayStation, take advantage of their spot because there's really no competition in that space. So that's a little bit scary in the sense of that. Hopefully, this might be wishful thinking, but hopefully the people over there at PlayStation don't, take this what's happening over there with Xbox and, now they feel like they could run amok and go crazy now and, make games cost this much, you know what I mean? And their hardware costs this much because Xbox is out of the picture. But honestly, if we're being honest, it seems like Xbox wasn't really competing with PlayStation to begin with for a very long time. They've been getting smoked. So PlayStation's been kind of doing what they want to do anyways, yo. Honestly, because Xbox has been getting fucking smoked. They've been getting fucking smoked. Yeah, no direct competition for PlayStation is not really great news because I feel like, the competition is what breeds excellence. I know PlayStation is still going to deliver great games, but right now, like, if there's no one's applying pressure on them, then they can kind of just do what they want. And that's kind of just the scary reality that we may be facing. You know what I mean? That just might be the reality we face when it comes to that. As consumers, the best we can do is just, support what we want to support, what we deem is right, what we feel is worth it, and things that we don't feel like is worth it, then we gotta chill out. We gotta chill out. You know what I mean? It's definitely gonna be this next coming decade is definitely gonna be a very interesting time in gaming. To see how everything plays out is gonna be very interesting. Marshmallow says Xbox has been getting smoked by PlayStation since inception. You're not lying about that. Xbox entered the console space, and it got a name for itself. We ain't gonna say like the original Xbox was shit. Like, obviously, when it comes to the PlayStation 2 sales comparisons, it got blown out the water. It's not in a competition, but they definitely made a name for themselves, and we seen what they did. They made the right moves where PlayStation kind of blundered with the PS3 generation, and they came out swinging. And they were doing what everybody wanted at the time. They had exclusives that people wanted to play, great games, high quality games that people wanted to play at the time. From the Halo sequels to the Gears of War to having Mass Effect first, to having a lot of games first, actually. You know what I mean? Call of Duty was just better on Xbox at that time. They got the maps first. So they were really aggressive in the 360 era where PlayStation, they were coming off one of the greatest console generations ever, which is the PS2, which still hasn't been surpassed yet. So they were on a crazy high horse, and we know that story. I don't gotta reiterate that story with the $599 price point with the PS3 at that time, which was crazy. So I'm very curious how things are gonna play out in the future now, man. Play out in the future. So, um, is there? I want to ask the chat this. Shout out to the people watching, by the way. Hit the like button if you haven't hit it already. Is there a possibility where Microsoft stops putting Call of Duty into Game Pass? Is there a possibility that that happens? Do you guys see that could happen? That Microsoft is like, yo, we're losing too much money on Call of Duty right now that we're not putting it in Game Pass anymore. I want to ask y'all that in the chat. Let me see what y'all say. I'm gonna be reading the comments, so get active. Pearl says maybe next year. Marshmallow says yes, people will buy COD. Honestly, I think they probably should have pulled it out. Maybe putting Call of Duty in Game Pass wasn't the right move. Like, how much money can how much money do they plan to lose on on Call of Duty by keeping it in Game Pass? Radix says that would be so embarrassing for them optically. Yeah, it would be. It would be. But if you got to reel it back in, like if it's doing more damage than good, then you got to reel it back in. You know what I mean? The PlayStation Gamer says, I can totally see Microsoft pulling Call of Duty from Game Pass to get more sales from it. Leaky says, facts, COD prints money. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it would. Them pulling it out from Game Pass might be bad PR for a bit, but the Call of Duty audience, if they see a good Call of Duty, they're gonna buy it. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna spend the money and buy it. I think that's definitely a possibility that we can see in the future. Honestly, it's very probable too because we've seen Microsoft. They're not opposed to readjusting Game Pass. Like remember, day one games used to be in the cheapest tier. You know what I mean? Day one games used to be in the cheapest tier until it wasn't anymore. Then they put it in the most expensive tier. So, and I guess if you have, from my understanding, if you have Game Pass Premium on consoles, you don't even get day one games in there, but they come in after. So clearly, Microsoft knows that the sale of the game is still important. Like they still want people to buy games, yo. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a sticky situation that they're in right now. Definitely a sticky situation. Process Kofi, answer this: if they pull COD down, Game Pass, do Game Pass stay $30? You know what? It absolutely does. I don't think they're I don't think they're reverting the price of Game Pass. You know why? Because I think even as is, I think they still want Game Pass to be more expensive than it is right now. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta people gotta consider all the games that are in Game Pass, whether they're coming from like third party publishers. Microsoft cuts a check to them, and the games that they're developing in house, some of them are big fucking games. Like if we look at games like Fable, we're looking at the Forza Horizon. Those are big budget fucking games, right? So I don't know how much they're really eating off that Game Pass for when you factor the cost of keeping the lights of the building on for these studios, paying the employees, the marketing, like what they really. I know that Sarah Bond came out. I believe it was Sarah Bond. They came out and be like, "Yo, Game Pass generated like $5 billion." But the thing with those statements, they never tell you the nitty gritty of things. They don't never tell you the expenses, right? If it brought in $5 billion, how much did it cost to like what was the profit? You know what I mean? What's the operating cost? Like they're not gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you the thing that sounds good to the public and the investors. You know what I'm saying? So they're never gonna give you the nitty gritty, and people run with that. It's almost like seeing randomly. Oh, this game rose 3,000%. This game, the sales rose 3,000%, but the percent from what? What was it selling before? You know what I mean? Maybe it sold 50 extra copies now and it was dead in the water, so it rose 3,000%. Like those type of numbers, all I'm trying to say, those type of numbers don't really mean shit when you don't have the full picture. You feel me? When you don't have the full picture, those numbers don't mean shit, bro. The PlayStation Gamer says, honestly, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot by making Game Pass such a great deal out the gate. Now we're seeing them realize they should have been charging more out the gate. I think you're right about that. I think you're right about that. Game Pass, there's no ands, if, or buts. I know in the fanboy sphere and the world that they're kind of destroying it. But at one point in time, it was a good deal. I think even on PC, if you have PC Game Pass, I think that's actually a good deal. Even though it got a $4 increase, Game Pass being $16 on the PC side thing, I think that's still a very good deal, honestly. Especially in a time where Microsoft is actually it seems like they have a better cadence of releases coming out. You know what I mean? We got the Outer Worlds 2, whether you're interested or not. We got Ninja Gaiden. They're dropping a new Forza Horizon. We know Gears E Day is coming out. This year wasn't a bad year for Game Pass, especially with the games that they dropped, right? So it's still a really good deal on the PC side of things. On the console side of things, it's definitely not as good of a deal on the console side of things. Okay, so we got we got a comment. This one's from PS5 Blows. All right, there we go. I like to hear from different perspectives. Let's read his comment. He says, "Ponies think there's not gonna be another Xbox. Those dudes believe everything, except that Sony is gonna put games on Xbox." Um, at this point in time, uh, as for Microsoft making hardware, once again, the rumors is that it may happen, it may not happen. That's the rumors. I don't think sneaker OS's rumors like it's not happening at all. They're saying that it was for sure at one point in time. Now it's not for sure. So I guess it's yet to be seen. I still believe they still got they might got one more in them, but I think after that it's curtains. I think it's over after that, bro. I think it's over after that. AKL Max says I subbed one Expedition 33 dropped. Yeah, it was a good year for Game Pass on the low, bro. It was a good year for Game Pass. There was a lot of good games. I think Doom Dark Ages on Game Pass, and it launched this year too. I think you got your money's worth this year, especially on the PC side of things, because Game Pass is cheaper on PC. It's cheaper on PC. Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Cloud is the future. Oh man, this guy looks like he's reading from the Xbox pamphlet right now. I think X Cloud and those type of cloud gaming is gonna be a thing, but I think the native experiences is always gonna be the popular option. I think that's just always gonna be a option for people, but I don't think it's gonna overtake gaming anytime soon. I don't think so. Like traditional native experience, I don't think cloud gaming is going to overtake that anytime soon, if at all, to be honest. If at all. The PlayStation Gamer says, I think it's fair to question Microsoft's future with consoles when you see moves like this and they get the feedback they're getting. I definitely, yeah, like everything that's going on, like it doesn't, as a consumer, I wouldn't feel so confident. I don't know how the Xbox fans that exist today that are so confident in the device with everything that's going on. It's like you're closing your eyes to like all the fucking signs. Like there's a lot of red flags going on over there right now, and it's crazy, man. They got some good games that I want to play coming out, man. As long as those games come out, I'm gonna be a happy guy though. I don't even care, bro. I'll just play them on wherever they at, whether it be PlayStation or PC, bro. I mean, but yeah, man, the situation over there is definitely looking a little bit spooky, man. I don't know. I guess we're gonna learn more. We're gonna learn more and see how all this shit plays out. We're gonna learn more and see how all this shit plays out for real. Um, man, but it's been quite interesting watching people's reactions of this though on the timeline. Like watching the Tim Dogs, watching the Kid Smooth. You know what I mean? Like watching that. There's been a lot of people, you know, a lot of people are saying like they jumping ship. I've been seeing that. A lot of people defending it, saying there's no fucking way that Xbox not dropping another hardware. It's been very mixed. It's been very, 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 very mixed reactions from this. Pearl says, if Fable gets canceled, I'm selling my Series X. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think Playground's gonna cook, and I think that game is gonna be a really good game, man. I'm looking forward to Fable. I think that's gonna be a really good game. Um, I am getting Microsoft and Xbox did hit me up. They are I mean they are gearing up to send out codes for Ninja Gaiden, so I'm looking forward to that. They're publishing that. I'm looking forward to playing that. That's also launching in Game Pass, so there's that. Jez just tweeted there are no plans to cancel hardware. Of course, Jez tweeted that, right? Jez also tweeted in the past, and it's not to take anything away from Jez. I have no beef with the guy or no quarrel with the guy, but he also tweeted at one point in time that Xbox is not putting games on PlayStation. He legit tweeted that. Or have we forgotten? And guess what? Everything's coming to PlayStation. Everything's coming to PlayStation. Sometimes he gets it because he's in the Xbox camp. He works for Windows Central, so he gets the scoop on certain things. So I'm not gonna take anything away from him. But sometimes he be dead ass wrong, and you already know what side he rolls with and what he fights for. So we gonna see. Let me look at this Brad Sam. This Brad Sam's guy is this is another Xbox guy. He's like reading all these Xbox headlines. Oh my god. Yo, what a time, bro. What a time. Why Kid Smooth crashing out? Who's he crashing out on, bro? Shut the fuck up, you weird. What is he crashing out on? Let me see what he's saying right now. They crashing out with Xbox sunsets. You diabolical bitches better not talk to me. Yo, why is he crashing out? Yo, why is he crashing out? Why is Smooth crashing out? Just know you made my life the past 10 years over a fucking console. Now that console's done, your online presence is and will be shit. Just, you have nothing to discuss. Why is Kid Smooth crashing out, bro? Holy. I can't lie. That's funny. That's funny. He's quite a character. I'll give it to him. Yeah, Smooth is funny, bro. Man will die over his Xbox, bro. Yeah, man. It's scary out here, bro. It's scary out here, bro. Xbox might be going full third party and leaving hardware for good. Oof. That's crazy. That's crazy. What is this article saying? Microsoft already garnered headlines last week when it announced a 50% increase in the pricing of Game Pass. According to a new rumor, though, the company's strategy may be shifting to an even greater degree than people imagined. I low-key believe this shit is happening. I ain't gonna lie. Like, first of all, they're already 100. I don't know why they're saying they're going full third party. They're already full third party. You know what I mean? Like, Microsoft is already full third party. Every fucking event they do, they don't even hide it anymore. They just tell you what platform the games are coming from. They just announced Forza Horizon 6, and they're like, yo, it's going to come out on PlayStation. Like, they're not even hiding it anymore. That's fucking third party, bro. Like, what are we talking about? The rumor comes from Sneakers, who previously leaked that Xbox initial plans to start porting its games to other consoles. And opposed to NeoGAF board, the leaker wrote that the plans to actually produce the next Xbox hardware went from being really concrete to up in the air. So it still could come out. They still could drop a hardware, but it's up in the air. Which was confusing to say the least, because the time to pull the trigger on manufacturing for the new console isn't that far. That is interesting. You guys already know they planned this shit ahead of time, right? They planned this shit way ahead of time. So if they're making their decision, they got them. And wasn't a rumor that Microsoft was going to be dropping a console in like 2026 or 2027? Like the rumor was, I feel like the rumor was like Microsoft was going to drop a console ahead of PlayStation. So are they putting a delay on that? Are they going to pause? Okay. The goal was to begin in 2026, likely for 2027 launch. But the leaker makes it sound like Microsoft is not so sure about going through with that any longer. The reason is that the future of Xbox is software publishing, which I think they'll be very successful at, by the way. I think Microsoft will be a killing. Like we be seeing MPDs. And now that Microsoft owns so much, from Bethesda to Activision to all these fucking studios, we see Microsoft's name in the MPDs list like crazy. Like they'll be a very successful software publishing company. Like if the console don't exist, Microsoft will be a presence in gaming, like no matter what. Like they're not going the way of the Dota board. They own way too much shit. with a significantly honed in focus on profitable IPs. Okay, I read that already. Cloud gaming being the home of the Xbox platform. I think it's too soon for this all in on cloud gaming shit still. Like, I think it's way too soon for that. And the funny thing is, Microsoft is talking about all this cloud gaming, but they legit have the worst form of cloud gaming. Has anyone experienced, like, has anyone in the chat tried, like, GeForce, the GeForce Now versus, like, what PlayStation has to offer versus what Xbox has to offer? Xbox legit has the worst form of cloud gaming, which is crazy. You would think that company would have the best, right? But in reality, Nvidia actually has the best form of game streaming right now that I've personally tried. I heard, talking with J Main, who tried Google Stadia, he said Google Stadia was really good in terms of latency and image quality. But right now, I think GeForce now has like literally the best form of fucking cloud streaming gaming right now. And I think right now, I think I read somewhere that Microsoft is increasing their cloud streaming to 1440p. For the longest time, the streaming on Xbox was the worst. Even the resolution that they offered was the worst out of everyone that was doing it. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how Microsoft is kind of waving the cloud gaming flag when they don't even have the best version of cloud gaming right now. They haven't shown us, unless they have a new technology come into where they're gonna, like overlap Nvidia and stuff like that. But they legit have the worst form of cloud gaming right now. No bullshit. So that's very interesting, by the way. Okay, transitioning to Game Pass into basically becoming the point of entry subscription for xCloud access. That's so spooky, bro. That's spooky as fuck, bro. That's spooky as hell, bro. Which will continue to drive its price tag higher, by the way. They aren't done. They're not just there yet either. Okay. And releasing their software on any device that has a market. Okay, so we pretty much read that. That was the leak. Essentially, Microsoft would be pulling a Sega, exiting the console market for good. While that makes sense in a number of ways, Xbox hardware sales have been declining for years now. That's a fact. That's just a fact. Like, it is what it is. Microsoft has absolutely promised its fans a new console this generation. They have broken promises many times. So, like, I know people, once again, people are going by what they said. That can be switched. So that really doesn't hold no weight to me. Once upon a time, they said, yo, we just can't take Kinect out the box. You know what I mean? And guess what? They took Kinect out the box. Like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, they could make a promise. They could absolutely break a promise. Like, they have done that before. Once again, they said that there's just 4 games coming. This is not a signal. Remember when Phil Spencer did that whole meeting with the chairs and everything? Yo, this is not a signal. He legit said, this is not a signal, guys, that everything's coming over. Guess what happened? Everything's coming over. You know what I'm saying? So their company's promises don't mean shit. It really don't mean shit. And a powerful one at that. With Xbox president claiming it would bring the biggest technical leap ever seen from generation to generation. AKA, they're probably gonna go, if they are making a device, they're gonna go a PC route. And if it's gonna be what did I do? All right. If it's gonna be the biggest technical leap we have seen, that's gonna come with a price. Which a lot of people were having a discussion. If Microsoft were to drop a new console, it was probably going to be the most expensive console that we've ever seen. Ever. If Microsoft does release a device, because you already know they're going to be selling to a smaller group of people, their hardcore audience, so it's probably going to be priced. The sticker price is going to be shocking. I do believe that. Mark it down. If Microsoft does end up dropping some sort of hardware, right, themselves, the sticker price is going to be fucking ridiculous. It's going to cost more than whatever PlayStation got coming out. 100%. I'll put money bet on that. I don't think they're going to sell the console at a loss. I don't think they're going to do nothing. They're going to make a really strong console. They're not going to sell it at a loss, and it's going to cost a shit ton of fucking money. It's going to cost a stupid amount of money. Mark it down. If they do release a console, mark it down. Moreover, less than 4 months ago, Microsoft signed a multi-year partnership with AMD to make next-generation devices, including console, handhelds, and cloud. Now, they could probably renegotiate the agreement with AMD if need be and exclude the console part, but Xbox fans would not take it well to suddenly hear that there will be no more consoles produced by their favorite brand, especially as it could also mean them losing access to all their games in their libraries. spanning entire generations through backwards compatibility. Another thing I want to discuss too. Another thing I want to discuss because they're saying, well, the rumor prior to all of this coming out saying the next Xbox was supposed to be pretty much some sort of PC, right? Portable PC form factor that's gonna have multiple different storefronts from Steam and Epic and so on, right? My question is, for the people, if they're going that route, what's gonna happen to the people that bought a Series X and an Xbox One and their game libraries? That's what I'm very curious. Because if the next Xbox device is legit just a fucking PC, and right now, as for right now, you cannot access your Xbox unless they're Play Anywhere titles. You cannot access your library your Xbox library on PC. You understand? So I'm very curious on even how that's gonna work, in a sense. Like, how does that even work? Does someone in the chat even know? Can explain to me how that will even work? Like, say I bought mad games on the Xbox One generation. I bought mad games on the Series S and X generation. Now their new device is essentially a PC. Bro, am I only able to access my Play Anywhere titles? How about my other games that I bought that are not Play Anywhere? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very curious on even how that's going to work. So that's why this whole PC hybrid thing has always been a little bit confusing to me, because I just got questions. I got questions that I need answers for. What's up, Tim? What is Tim saying? He says, we just go back to how gaming used to be. I am used to never bringing my Nintendo games forward and keeping all my old consoles. You know what? I know you're saying that, Tim. I know you're saying that, but that would trigger a lot of people in this day and age, bro. Can you imagine if Microsoft released a device, this PC hybrid device that has the Epic Games Source team on it, right? But they're saying like only the Xbox Play Anywhere titles can work. But all your other games, all your other digital games, which is a bulk of, because I think there's actually stats that prove that most Xbox gamers buy digital right now. Because, you know, really know when it comes to physical games on Xbox, they be fucking up. The games don't even be on the disc. Sometimes they don't even launch a hard copy version. You know what I'm saying? So most Xbox gamers are strictly digital gamers. So can you imagine them coming out and be like, yo, only the Play Anywhere titles work? All them other games you have, you just got to keep your old Xbox. I think a lot of people are going to be upset, bro. I think a lot of people would be fucking upset, bro, from that. Marshmallow says, Kofi, have you ever read the Harry Potter books? No, that's a random ass question. No, I haven't. I've never actually been into Harry Potter. I'm more of a Lord of the Rings type of guy, personally. Damn, if it only plays Play Anywhere titles, yo, I can imagine the PR nightmare that would be. That would be a PR nightmare, bro. Because in reality, there's quite a few Play Anywhere titles, but there's not that much. It's not that much. That would trigger a lot of fucking people, bro. So that's what's gonna be interesting if they do end up releasing some sort of hybrid PC like console. You know what I mean? Unless it's gonna have some sort of remnants of like some old, like like back in the day with like the PS3, like the 60 gigabyte model has like the internals literally have like PS2 internals built in it as well. That's why it was backwards compatible. So I guess they could do something like that, but that would make it extremely expensive. Or I don't even know. This whole shit is confusing to me, bro. Okay. Include handhelds about AMD. Where was I? Fans would take us. Now they reading about all their libraries spanning the entire generations through backwards compatibility. Yeah, okay, so this is pretty much what we're discussing right now. Yeah, so it's definitely really interesting. Now, this rumor is still to be taken with a grain of salt. That said, The Verge Tom Warren was just featured on the Xbox Era podcast, claiming that Sneakers SO actually does know about Microsoft's gaming plans. I guess this is a quote from. I will say he knows a lot of what's going on internally. I don't think he's a bad source. I think he knows a lot. Fucking hell, bro. Fucking hell, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. Honestly, I knew the Xbox had a chance of going, the way of the Dodo Bird, but I really thought they had one more in them. I really thought they had one more in them before it was curtains. Now it just might just be curtains. They might they might not got one more in them. And I think the truth will be unveiled soon because the rumor is that Microsoft is supposed to be launching or at least announcing a new hardware next year, right? So I think the truth will be revealed sooner than later. You know what I mean? If they're really launching a console in 2027 and they're or 2026, that was the plan. They're going to have to announce the console soon to at least market it. Usually console announcements happen really early. You know what I mean? Before release. I think very few consoles have a really short. Oh, we're announcing the console and then it's coming out. Like that rarely happens. That rarely happens. Okay, is that enough Xbox talk? I think it is. I think it is. I think that's enough Xbox talk, man. We're gonna pray for them. We're gonna pray for them. Honestly, as PlayStation gamers and the PlayStation community out there, I know the console war shit is fun, but them leaving the hardware market is not necessarily a great thing. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a great thing. Once again, this means that PlayStation got free reign right now. Hey, what's up? Go ahead. I'll turn off my webcam. Go ahead. That means PlayStation got free reign to do whatever they want, and that's not. Sometimes when a company has all that power, it's not the best thing. It's not the best thing. All right, yo. So what should we get into next? You guys got me for a few more, man. A few more topics before I have to get the hell out of here. What should we get into next? I'm reading the chat. Cam, hold up. Marshmallow says that's not true. What do you mean? Tell me, write your comment, man. Write your comment. What do you mean that's not true? That is looking spooky for PlayStation gamers because they got free reign. He's saying that's not true. Is that what you're saying? Explain why. I would like to hear why. Marshmallow says talk about Tsushima DLC. Whoops. I mean, Yotei, bro. Shout out to Alex in the chat. He says, "What will PlayStation fanboys talk about now?" Oh man, yeah, man, this is gonna be a blow for a lot of content creators. You know what I mean? The content creators that only do console war stuff is gonna be a big blow for them too. Because if Xbox is out of there, then y'all have to get creative and talk about something else for real, bro. Y'all have to get creative and discuss something else. Oh, they're saying Alex is cooked. Alex, they're saying you're cooked. They're saying Alex is cooked. Hold up. Alex gotta reform the content a little bit. Alex gonna come up with something. You know what I mean? He creative. He gonna come up with something, bro. He gonna come up with something. PlayStation was fire when Sega left. That is true, but you have to understand this. Nintendo was still kind of competing in the same sphere, but right now Nintendo's not competing with PlayStation at all in the same kind of sphere at all. You know what I mean? PlayStation right now, the audience that it's appealing to, Nintendo does not even appeal similarly to the same audience. So they got free reign on that audience. If Xbox don't exist, the high performance console gamer, they got free reign to do whatever the fuck they want. Free reign. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see. We just gotta hope, the heads over there at PlayStation don't abuse their power. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? It's a corporation, so they tend to do that, and they do right by the gamers. But it's always good to have a direct competitor because it applies pressure for y'all for them to make at least even pricing sometimes compare compete. They compete with compressed. Because think about it. If Xbox, say Xbox was neck and neck with PlayStation in terms of hardware sales, when the next generation comes around, right? PlayStation is going to be really trying to pay attention to what Xbox is doing and how they're going to price their console, right? Right now, PlayStation don't even got to do that no more. They got to be like, yo, the Xbox console don't exist, yo. So, like, yo, we could just price this whatever the fuck we want, honestly. We have nothing to really compare it to. You know, we have nothing to compare it to. Like, in this space, the Switch is not competing with us. They don't even get all the third-party games we get. They're not getting Battlefield 6. They're not getting GTA. They're not getting these huge, big-budget AAA games. You know what I mean? So PlayStation don't even have no one to bang heads with, to even compete at all with. Right now, because right now, look, once again, they're announcing new consoles. Let's say Xbox was competing with PlayStation. They're announcing new consoles, right? Xbox comes out first. They show a great show. Our console is $599. Then PlayStation's gonna be like, damn, yo, we out on paper $799. Fuck it. We might have to, you know what I mean? We might have to adjust our shit a little bit. We might have to adjust it. You know what I mean? Like, now they don't even have to do that no more, bro. Now they don't have to do that. They could just do whatever the fuck they want at this point, bro. So that's not really a good thing. That's not really a good thing at all. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. That's not really a good thing, bro. You're right about that. The market spoke. You're right about that FY law that the market spoke and they deemed Xbox not desirable. That's your fact. That is the facts. That is the fact. So that's why, like, we can't really do anything about it right now because it is what it is. The masses have chosen that Xbox is just not it, and we don't want that joint. We don't want that shit. You know what I mean? Like, which is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Once again, I think it comes down to the mind share of just the regular folks and people, bro. Regular folks and people. The default console has just become PlayStation, and I'm not gonna fault PlayStation for becoming the default console because they did everything that they were supposed to do. You feel me? You know, if Xbox did everything that they were supposed to do, they might have become the default console at one point in time. There was a lot of momentum. Nobody can't tell me otherwise. After the 360, even though the 360 towards the end of the generation was kind of, they're doing a whole lot of bullshit, a lot of Connect shit. We had some really shitty games like Gears Judgment. This is towards the end, right? But Xbox as a brand, right, was still highly regarded. Like, obviously not in Japan. Japan was never gonna fuck with Xbox. They don't really have that super international space. But in America, and I think even somewhat in Europe too, was doing much better. People were excited for it. People were dead ass excited to see what Microsoft was gonna do next with the Xbox after the 360. People were dead ass excited, bro. But honestly, it really goes back to the Xbox One, bro. That generation, like, they need to make documentaries about that fucking specific moment in time. Yo, that generation cooked this company to a degree that we have never seen before. I've never seen that. That one generation fucked everything up. Can you imagine that? That one blunder. There's been times in the past that companies blundered. Like, PlayStation blundered pretty bad with the PS3. But somehow, you know what I mean? They were able to pick it up, did everything right. You know, got right with the gamers. But that one fuck up with the Xbox One cooked them for life. Fucking crazy. And it's crazy that one generation where Xbox did everything wrong, PlayStation did everything right. You know what I'm saying? They legit had the cheaper, let's not forget, with the PS4, they had the cheaper console and it was the more powerful console when it launched, which was fucking crazy. It was cheaper and more powerful. Like, at that point, Microsoft is cooked. Microsoft was going through a whole bunch of, like, controversy with when it comes to always online, sharing video games. Then PlayStation, they so savage. We gotta watch it real quick. We gotta watch it. Hold on. We gotta watch it. This might have nailed the coffin. This might have killed them. Oh my god. This might have just did it. We might just have to attribute to this, bro. Like, this might have did it. This ended their whole career, bro.
Share your games on PS4.
Oh my god, bro. How to share used games on PS4. This might have ended their whole career. This one little video ended a whole brand. That's fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy. PlayStation, y'all savages.
This
for
is
this
how
one,
you
bro.
share your games on PS4.
Y'all savages for this one, bro. This was crazy. I remember seeing this shit, and them folks never recovered since. Them folks never recovered since from this, bro. Simple and sweet, ended their whole fucking career, bro. Overcooked. Over fucking cooked. Insane. When you really think back at it, it's like, damn, man. They really did their big one. They did their big one. They really got them out the paint with that shit, bro. Cheapest console, more powerful console, no controversy. They put gamers in the forefront, dropped some banger IPs as well. New IPs that generation, they just cooked. So going back to what I said, I can't even be mad at PlayStation becoming the default console because they did what they were supposed to do. You feel me? They did everything that they were supposed to do. They have worked their way up to into a position that they're pretty much Apple. Right now, I'm so ingrained in the Apple ecosystem that I could hear an Android could wipe my ass. It got 8K resolution. It got 144 hertz display. It got this and that, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm getting the new iPhone. Fuck it. Still 1080p screen. It still got, you know what I mean? Like, they're just so, it's just the default. It's just like iPhone is like just the default phone. There's so many other Android phones that have better technical specs, but guess what? It's the brand. The brand power is just too strong. Mans are just too ingrained in that ecosystem to even consider something else. You might call that shilling, but I feel like Apple they laid the groundwork to get people like us who just, now we just dedicated iPhone users for the rest of our lives. You feel me? The funny thing is, as much as I complain about my iPhone to this day, I have issues that with it, whether like I just see what Raisin said, like the iPhone Pro 15 Pro is shit. The battery is like water. As much as I complain, I have problems with my battery. I can't even consider myself getting something else. I can't consider myself going to the other side. And I feel like PlayStation has kind of worked the general public into that right now. Like right now, people can't even if PlayStation, they're not happy with it, guess what? They're still playing on PlayStation. All the mans that are complaining, even the hardcore audience that are complaining about PlayStation to this day, they could do something about it. They could go over and play on PC. They could go over and support Xbox, but guess what? They just stay where they at. And I think that's where we're kind of at right now. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation is just the default console. And, they deserve it because they laid the groundwork. They had the games, and now people are we stuck. We stuck over here, bruh. We stuck over here. Oh, man. Shout out to Nova. I see Nova over here. I said Gian the Don in here. We got a super chat donation from FY Law 95. I don't even know what currency that is. Can you tell me where you from? I'm actually mad curious. What kind of fucking currency is that? RSD5. What is that, bro? What is that? I bet you that's more than 500. That's probably even more Canadian dollars than what we got over here. But let me know where you're from. I'm curious. He says, a year head start, better exclusives, better running games, better marketing, and Xbox 360 still lost. They just don't have the brand power. I know in the end of the day, the PS3 eclipsed the 360 in console sales. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. Xbox won that generation. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. I know technically we're just going by the PS3 eclipsed the 360, but the 360 was just the better console. It was the better console. I don't care. In the end of the day, maybe the PS3 ended up selling a couple million more, 10 million more, 5 million, whatever it is. The 360 was honestly the better console at that time. It was the better console, and it was also just as popular. Like, if you weren't gaming on the 360, what were you gaming on, bro? Like, you had to have a 360. You had to have that joint, like, growing up. Like, they had must-have games. The online was just better. Like, it was just, I don't give a fuck, bro. 360 won that generation in my eyes. I know you all could debate it. I don't give a fuck. 360 won that generation. It was just a better console overall. Incredible IP at that time. It was just a better experience. Dizzy says PS3 had better exclusives than 360. I think that's debatable. You see, Rich Homie Sean says, facts, 360 had the bigger cultural impact on gaming then. That's a fact. If we're going by the numbers, yeah, we could say the PS3 eclipsed it, but the 360 at that time was had the cultural impact. They had the pulse. They had the people at the time. Like, it is what it is. I don't know where y'all were from or how y'all grew up. The 360 was a must have. Like, you had to have that. You had to have Gears of War. You had to have Halo 3. You know what I mean? Call of Duty was better on 360. You had the maps first. Like, you just had to have the 360. The Mass Effect dropped that first. They had mad games that man's had to have. You know what I mean? And them games were smoking whatever PS3 had. Let's not get it twisted. Back then, Microsoft actually used to report sales. They used to report sales. Now they don't report sales because they getting cooked. We know why they don't report sales. But they used to report game sales back then. And the figures that what Gears of War was selling was eclipsing God of War 3. They just had the bigger impact. They had the bigger games. And I don't know what's the debate here, bro. I had a PS3 at them times too. Like, the 360 was just the it console. It had the cultural impact. They did their big one with the 360 at the time, bro. They did their big one. I'm not bugging. I see you, Marshall. I'm not bugging. I stand on that. 360 was the best console that generation. I stand on it. Captain Kenneth says, you bugging. Android Galaxy S25 Ultra and Galaxy Fold 7 is way better than iPhone. See, I think you're missing what I was saying when I was going through the whole phone comparison. I'm not saying it's not better. I'm just saying that I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where PlayStation is in the masses. Xbox could come with this super high-powered console, and people will still not give a fuck. That is quote-unquote better. That's my whole point in bringing up that conversation. I think iPhone is in a way that, if you already in there, you're in there. You know what I mean? They were great in the past. They revolutionized the smartphone industry, and now people are just ingrained in that ecosystem. And I think that's what's happening with PlayStation. I'm not saying other products. I wasn't pointing out to say the iPhone's better than those products. No. I can acknowledge those products have better specifications than what an iPhone is doing. But in the end of the day, people are still flocking to the iPhone. Why? Because we got them. We're ingrained in that ecosystem, and they got the mind share. People just fuck with iPhones. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Hold on. Hello? It's on top of the fridge. You see it? It's on top of the fridge. You hear me? It's on top of the fridge. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Hold on. Kid looking for his iPad. All right, yo. All right, there we go. That iPhone call quality. Yo, you right there, bro. Right? Couldn't hear a word I was saying. What couldn't hear? Oh man, yo. Oh man. Let me read some of the chat. I want to get everybody. He said this is from John the Black. He says by 2009, the 360 wasn't touching the PS3. Once again, the PS3 had some games. Don't get it twisted, man. I was a big fan of the PS3. As soon as they dropped Ultimate Ninja Storm, I ran and bought a PS3, bro. That shit looked incredible. Incredible. Uncharted 2, I needed to have that. They had must-have games too, but I would say I can only speak for myself and my experience, I guess, growing up. The 360 had a way bigger cultural impact around me in my area. In school, in high school, all of that, mans were on 360. Mans were staying up all night playing Halo 3 Forge. Mans were playing Gears of War custom games. Annex, doing fucking crab walks, kung fu flips out the map on Gridlock. That's that, like, it had a big, we were playing Gears of War 2. We were doing the Horde mode. Like, I don't know. Just the way I grew up, and at least my surrounding areas, you had to have a 360. If you didn't have a 360, you was a bum. You was a scrub. You had to have a 360. That was like the cultural impact around my areas. Maybe on your ends, y'all friends group, it was all PS3, but my entire high school and elementary school, you had to have a fucking 360. You had to have that shit, bro. Had to have that. He said, FY Law says, oh, in America, yeah, Xbox had that way, but not the rest of the world. I could see that. Maybe people in other regions, maybe Japan, maybe Europe, the PS3 probably was a little bit more was probably more popular over there. It was probably more popular, but where I grew up, you had to have that Xbox, bro. Had to have it. What else is folks saying? What else is folks saying? Okay, okay. So you're from Serbia. Okay, that's dope, man. That's dope. We got a viewer from Serbia. That's fire. That's fire, bro. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay, hold on. Talking to the wifey. The 360 was cheaper and had must-have games. Yeah, and the funny thing is, the must-have games that the 360 had were like mega hits. Like I don't know why people understand. Like they were mega hits. I know right now those IPs are not as popular as they once were, but like the motorsports, Halo at that time, Gears at the time, they weren't like small fry games. They were mega hit games, mega hit games. Yeah. Dizzy says it in my Jane. Oh, okay, you from the city. Okay, he said from Jane and Finch. It was split. Quite a lot of people in my friend group had PS3s. Oh, that's dope. The funny thing is, PS3. I feel like PS3 really didn't pop off until they dropped the Slim. Once the Slim dropped, then I saw like it bubbling up, at least in a community perspective, in terms of like friends group and school. When the PS3 Slim came out and they kind of rebranded and they're doing those commercials and that 299. Like when they did that, that's when I felt like, the PS3's presence started to grow. At least in my areas. You know what I mean? Like where people still wanted that. Hold on. Real quick, I'll be right back. Back. Let me see what the chat's saying. Yeah, yeah, Gian with Kevin Butler. Yeah, I remember those ads. Those ads were fire. John the Black says having PS2 backwards compatibility was a must, so I avoided the PS3 Slim like a plague. Yo, but the thing is, with those 60 gigs, I swear they used to go bad. They had an issue. Loki, I always wanted a 60 gig PS3. I never got that. Captain Kenneth says Kofi, you are right. For the first 60 to 65% of that generation, Xbox 360 was God. Then towards the last 40% of the generation, PS3 was untouchable. See that I will agree, and I did mention that earlier when I was talking that PlayStation really ended off the generation really strong. We got games like obviously like The Last of Us, like that was towards the end of the generation. We got like games like Uncharted 3, and obviously if you're more into the JRPGs and those were on PS3. You know what I mean? Those were on PS3. If you're into like the Nino Coonies, the White Knight Chronicles or whatever them type of games were, like if you're into those, you definitely had to have a PS3 for those. You definitely had to have a PS3. All right, let's talk about Ghost. Let's talk about Ghost. Who in here is playing Ghost of Yotei right now, bro? Let me see it. Who in here is playing Ghost? Let's talk about it a bit. Gion's playing Ghost. Gion, what y'all think? What y'all think? Marshmallow says he's waiting for PC. Let's get some impressions from the chat, man. What y'all think, man? What y'all think of Ghost of Yotei so far, bro? Let's talk about Tony. He's getting cooked on. He's still getting cooked? That's crazy. He's still getting cooked. It's been like 4 days now, bro. It's been like 3 days. Let's see what y'all think, man. Give me y'all impressions in the chat. Give me y'all impressions in the chat real quick. Jet Life 504 says Ghost has taken me by surprise. Okay. Gian says it's dope so far. The pacing is great. Dizzy says I don't see myself buying Yotei until it goes on sale. It doesn't look like a must-have to me. I beat Tsushima earlier this year. Okay. DrewTube says surpassing my expectations. That's dope. That's dope. Gian says the bounty system is dope. Uh, Graphically, it is a jump, says Jet Life. I agree. Okay, so my thoughts on Ghost. I'm gonna keep it not too long, keep it short and sweet. I probably have like 7 hours clocked into the game right now. 7 to 8 hours, maybe a little bit more. I have to actually double check right now, but I've been playing it. And one thing that was right off the bat that I noticed about Ghost of Yotei, that it's when it comes to exploration in the game and the way that it's done, the world feels a lot more dynamic and it feels a lot more organic than Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I mean? Even though Ghost of Tsushima promoted kind of follow where the wind goes, in the end it still ended up being very formulaic in the sense of, you're just checking your map. You're gonna go fight. You're gonna go do the bamboo tree. You're gonna go follow a fox. You're gonna go follow a bird to a hot spring. Like it was very formulaic. So far, I love the way that Yotei has improved on exploration as far as random encounters go in the world that kind of lead into other things, and I'm really enjoying that. For example, and I like how they divvy up rewards now as well. For example, I was doing a mission earlier. Maybe some of y'all farther than me, so y'all did this too. Like there was like a kid fishing or something like that, right? So you're talking to the kid, he gets his head blown off, right? Boom, right? I'm like, holy shit! Like his head just got blown off by a guy with a gun, right? I'm like, damn, right? I think he was in the areas that he's not really supposed to be in, right? He got his head blown off. Then I got into a little scuffle fight. Then I went on his body. Then I picked up and I acquired a mask. I'm like, yo, the way that they're actually giving up rewards and stuff this time around is dope. I like how things are tied to bounties. I do like how things are tied just to certain quest lines versus buying it at a shop or finding it at an altar. You know what I mean? Like I do like how it just feels a lot more organic, and than Ghost of Tsushima in my personal opinion. So I haven't really been focusing on the main line story content, but I've been actually doing a lot of the side things that's going on in the open world, and I'm really enjoying it. The way it's done in this game, it makes me actually want to do the side content a lot more, and I hope this keeps up, like this feeling keeps up throughout the entire game. Hopefully that's just not an early feeling thing where it gets more formulaic towards the end. Right now it doesn't feel very formulaic. It feels very organic, and I really do like that. When it comes to the visuals of Ghost, I will say it's 100%. Anyone saying it's not an improvement is a fucking liar, bro. It's 100% an improvement from Ghost of Tsushima, especially with what's going on in the open world, in the sense of like you see a whole bunch of wildlife stuff going. The image quality is also definitely sharper than Ghost. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's some sort of like complete night and day difference. Like it's not like, what's the example I could give you? It's not like GTA to Red Dead. It's not like an example like that where like GTA 5 looks like this and Red Dead, it's not a night and day different, but it's a lot of improvements, especially when it comes to lighting, um, what's going on in the world. A lot of improvements there. You know what I mean? A lot of improvements there that makes the game visually appealing. You know what I mean? So, I do like I do. Yeah, it's not The Last of Us 1 to 2. It's not that. It's not that type of upgrade. It's not that either. It's definitely closer, but there's a lot of details improved. The lighting in the game is vastly improved, especially if you're playing on the PlayStation 5 Pro in the ray tracing mode. The lighting looks really fucking good, man. Really fucking good in that game. And the character models, I will say, even though a lot of them got the same face, I don't know if y'all noticed, a lot of them got the same face, but I really do think that the attention to detail is overall pretty great in that game. I do like it. You know what I mean? As for the combat feels tighter. I do like that they done away with the stances, right? But replaced it with different weapons. I do like that. I do like that a lot, honestly. Um, the stances. One thing about Ghost of Tsushima that I didn't like is it. I felt like the combat got old kind of fast, especially for the length of the game. The game is a pretty long game, especially if you're going for the platinum, right? So the combat really did get a little bit dry fast, but so far, them mixing it up with different weapons is definitely gonna help with that. So the rock paper scissors mechanic has switched from stances to different weapons. How like dual katanas are more effective against like spears and sword. Like if a guy just got a regular sword, like then you pull out your regular sword. Like I like how they switch this from the stances to weapons, so I do like that a lot. What else can I say about Ghost? So far, the narrative is cool. Um, the opening is very Assassin's Creed Shadows e. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. It is very similar in the sense of that. It's another revenge story. Um, but I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not gonna say like I don't like the story. We've played a lot of games where the stories are similar. You know what I mean? So the story, it is what it is. I like the pacing. I like the voice acting so far. I like the way it's being told too. From you can kind of go into these moments, these areas where you can what's it called? Kind of shift into the past, right? Really quickly, which is really cool, and experience Atsu's childhood and how shit was before. So I do like that aspect of storytelling in it too. So I do like that. So far, I'm having a good time with it. I'm having a good time with it. And at first, I was thinking, yo, this game might get kicked out of Game of the Year contender. But I'm starting. I'm now that I'm playing it, I'm starting to lean that low key. It might slip in. You know what I mean? It might slip in and make it into one of the Game of the Year contenders. At first, I was thinking like, yo, like there's other games that might replace it. You know what I mean? It didn't really get that 90, but I'm thinking it might slip in now. So far, the way I'm playing it, man, I'm thinking I'm slipping. I thought Expedition was gonna sweep everything as well, especially when it comes to like art direction. But low key, Ghost might be competing in that category too when it comes to the Game Awards. I think art direction, Ghost might be banging with Expedition there. It might got it. It might got it. It might got it. Silk Song taking Game of the Year, I don't think so. I still think Expedition is gonna win. I feel like the story for that game, I think it's just too much fan favorite. It's too much of a fan favorite for them to snub it, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? I think the game exceeded so many people's expectations, what it means for turn-based RPGs and stuff like that. I think you never know. This might even inspire Square to make a turn-based mainline Final Fantasy again. Who knows? I think Expedition got too much going on for it to lose. I think it's gonna win a majority of the categories, but I don't know, man. This Ghost might win that art direction. It's not gonna win Game of the Year. I don't think so, but it might win best art direction still because the game is definitely beautiful, bro. Definitely beautiful. Kofi is live. Oh my days, I know, right? I'm just chopping up with y'all. I'm about to get out of here soon. Uh, the wife is getting hungry. You know what I mean? And you know how they get when they're hungry. So I need a. We gotta go figure out what we're gonna eat together. But yeah, man, Ghost is dope. I'm I was actually playing it, but before I decided to go live, and I'm gonna be trying to go for that platinum. I'm gonna be playing that next. At this point, I don't even know what to look forward to for the rest of the year. I guess Ninja Gaiden. I'm really looking forward to that game. Hopefully, Platinum cooks up something special with that. And I think that's about it. Yo, what else is coming out for the rest of the year? I'm really happy that Saros is a early game in 2026. Low key, we only have to wait like 5 months, 5 6 months for that game. So that's not too bad, man. I'm really looking forward to Saros. Um, Once again, if I get that early enough, I'm gonna cook up a fire review for y'all. If not, I mean, we're gonna have to make some other content. I have to make some other content. Is that all that's needs addressing? We talked about Xbox. I gave you all my thoughts on Ghost of Yotei. Is there any other topics y'all wanna see me cover? I know we haven't done a podcast in a while, so I haven't really give my thoughts on certain shit. Is there anything else you want me to go over real quick before I get the fuck out of here? I'm looking forward to Vampire Bloodlines 2. Okay. I need to go look at gameplay of that. I heard of that game before. Talk about Nintendo crazy price hikes on games. What happened? What happened with that? They raised the price again, or is this a they raised the price again? $70 for Mario Tennis. Isn't that like the regular price for them? Taiwo, what's up? He says Metal Gear Remake. Oh my god, I actually beat Metal Gear Remake not that long ago. Sensational. Absolutely sensational. Go ahead and play that. If you never played that game before, that might be the best way to play. I ain't gonna hold you. Konami did a big one with that one, bro. Metal Gear Solid Remake is fire. I was kind of doing a silent protest for that game. I didn't want to buy it day one because I heard the performance a little spooky, so I gave it some time. I ended up picking it up on CD keys for cheaper. Played it on PC, installed the ultra wide mod. Um, Pretty much, I was still locked at 60 frames per second because the game is capped at 60 FPS on PC. I had to put it on balance. I was playing it maxed out, but DLSS on balance. When I put it on quality, then I was starting to get frame rate dips here. So, and you have to understand, my ultra wide monitor is a 4K joint. It's like the fancy ultra wide, so the resolution is fucking sharp as shit. The game was excellent, bro. It's at balance. It stayed at 60 FPS, so performance wasn't really an issue. I really enjoyed it. It's honestly one of the best looking games I've played. One of them this year. Like even visually, from a visual perspective, the controls are so tight. They done an incredible job with Metal Gear Solid, man. Konami did a big one with that one. That remake is fucking fantastic. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend that. Oh, I got it on consoles too. Don't get it twisted. I got it on consoles too. I might have to go back and run and get that plat on the console as well. So yeah, I heard the plat wasn't too bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm definitely gonna replay it again. The game's not even that long. Like you could beat the game in like 15 hours, so it's not even a long game. Really good game. Really good game. I'm also playing Silent Hill F. I did put a pause on that, obviously because Ghost is out now. And I was really enjoying Silent Hill F too. That game is really good too. Really enjoy it. I'm talking about the platform Metal Gear Solid Delta. Silent Hill is really good too, so I do recommend that game if you're into it. The combat's a little bit clunky, but it's weird. It's clunky in a fun way. You know what I mean? If it was too tight, then it would kind of take away the survival horror aspect from it. You know what I mean? If it was too tight and too good, it's a little clunky. It works, but for the experience that is delivering, I'm actually enjoying it from what I played. Silent Hill F is pretty dope too. Yeah. And I think that's about it. I don't even know what else I can really get into. I'll be live again, so if I miss anything, I'll be live again. Maybe I'll do a little bit. I'll do more of these type of streams with y'all. Is a 9 out of 10 mid though? Tony's weird, bro. Yeah, that video title is so stupid, bro. Tony's weird. Anyways, I think I'm going to wrap up and get out of here. I do appreciate everyone who came through and kicked it with me. It was fun chatting with y'all. And we're gonna do it again, man. We're gonna do it again, man. I'll see you guys soon, man. I'm gonna be dropping a video soon. I'm trying to drop some more short form content, maybe once a week or twice a week on some topics. So look out for that, man. I'm gonna holla at y'all, all right?